and by capitalizing on the rich blood supply and delivering things IV. So an ideal agent, in my opinion, would be one that could be used intravenously, that is non-toxic, therefore, and if possible, wouldn't it be nice if it were natural? Well, that's exactly what Poly MVA is. Poly MVA was invented by Dr. Garnett, particularly dear to my heart because he's a fellow dentist. I was a dentist first before I went back to medical school. I became very interested in oral cancer and did some projects with oral cancer. And if anybody wants to believe in a conventional model is not right, they ought to follow oral cancer therapy. It's pretty gruesome to me. So anyway, Dr. Garnett was first a dentist, and then he went back to become one of the world's foremost electrochemists working in the biologic model. So, and he searched for a specific cure for cancer. While most researchers were focusing on cell division, Dr. Garnett focused on cellular electronics. Again, most of the electrochemists are working in the other area of electrics and electricity and their electrical engineering. But Dr. Garnett works in a biologic model. Dr. Garnett knew where he wanted to go 30 years ago. He just knew that it was going to take a long time to get there. He had to try 20,000 compounds before he came up with Poly MVA. Takes a man of great patience. And he synthesized finally a palladium lipoic acid complex, which is a charge-inducing liquid. It is considered the first non-toxic tumor agent, in my opinion. Dr. Garnett searched for a method to control energy within the cell. He believed that if he could reverse the flow of electrons, he could bring death to a cancer cell while having no effect on normal cells. The polymer metal combination, alpha lipoic acid and palladium, is called Poly MVA. Now, alpha lipoic acid is known by most alternative doctors to diffuse rapidly through all cell membranes, water and fat soluble. So it goes anywhere in the body, including through the nuclear membranes and the very tough blood-brain barrier. And incidentally, I think that's why one of the reasons that Poly MVA, as far as I'm concerned, is I know it's not a drug, but to me, it's the drug of choice for brain cancer. We're going to have some survivors up here pretty soon from Poly MVA experience that survived cancer, and you're going to listen to their incredible testimonies. They also have some books at the exhibit that you ought to stop by and look at, because in it are a whole lot of testimonies that are just unbelievable. Now, other ingredients make up the Poly MVA molecule, but primarily it acts as a gene-restoring nutrient. But recently we had another exciting event occur. Dr. Frank Antonowicz, a neurophysiologist at State University of New York, Sunnybrook, is a neurophysiologist researcher. And he learned that injury following ischemia, reperfusion, that is associated with free radicals occurs to a very limited extent with Poly MVA if the animal is premedicated with Poly MVA. So that's an announcement that's going to become more and more important and will probably lead to Poly MVA being approved eventually, even before its approval as a cancer agent. AMARC is the manufacturer and the retailers of Poly MVA. Stop by their booth. It's booth number 7. There are a whole lot of other agents that we use in our clinic, but I don't want to talk about those today because I want to primarily discuss Poly MVA, which is a wonderful non-toxic agent that brings about electrical changes within the cell that is preferentially against cancer cells. It does not injure normal cells. It brings charge to DNA, and DNA, of course, is the molecule of life and contains the blueprints of life. If those blueprints begin to be injured, then cancer results. What happens with Poly MVA, one of the things, is the electrical charge restores the DNA molecule. Well, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you'll get a chance to further investigate this wonderful chemical.